Hello and welcome to Money Magnets, a podcast that helps women achieve financial independence and freedom. I am Anna and I'm here with my co-host Alex.
We are so excited to have you join us for our very first episode. Well, what is this podcast all about? We will share with you how we overcame our own financial struggles. We will talk about our journey to become financially independent and how you can do the same.
We will also cover topics such as budgeting, saving, investing, passive income, retirement planning, your mindset, and much more.
We will also interview some experts and other successful people who have achieved financial independence and freedom and learn from their insights and experiences.
In this introductory episode, we will tell you a bit about ourselves, why we have decided to create this podcast to help women deal with their financial concerns, and what kind of content you can expect.
But before we jump into the deep end, we would like to point out that we are not accredited financial advisors. We have gathered all our knowledge from books, blogs, podcasts, courses we've done, social media, and our very own trial and error. As this was tough as nails, we want to make it a lot easier for you.
So our podcast is all about informing and empowering you. We want to make sure that learning about money is fun and it's easy. And we also want to inspire you to take action and achieve your dreams. So let's talk a little bit about ourselves, Alex.
I grew up in Germany in your standard middle-class family. There was always some money, but it wasn't exactly a topic that was talked about. Well, I finished high school and then I studied translations in Munich. And I finished my studies in 2008. That was the year of the economic crisis in Europe. And there was no one offering jobs to anyone, especially anyone who just finished university. So I actually got an internship in Franschhoek. And that's how I ended up coming to South Africa. I was meant to stay only for 1 year, but like so many other Germans, I stayed because I fell in love with this beautiful country and I found a new home here. How did you end up here?
Same as yourself, I'm also from Germany and I moved to London for an internship, at which point I've met my now husband, JP. And we were living in the UK for quite some time. We moved to Scotland and at some point I just could no longer bear the weather. So I begged him, can we please move to South Africa because that's where he was from. And he said, yes, we can move to Cape Town. And we ended up in Cape Town pretty soon after with a no return ticket, actually just one flight to Cape Town. And then, that's the story of me moving to South Africa.
I lived in Franschhoek for the first few years, but then eventually I moved to Cape Town. And because I was new in Cape Town and didn't really know anyone, I decided to do a writing course. And that is where I met you.
Yes, it's right on with Amy. Shout out to you there. Yes, so we started this writing course, which was pretty awesome. It was, I think, an 8 or 12 weeks writing course.
It was a few weeks, yeah. We met once a week.
We are actually still friends with Amy, the creator, and a couple of other people, which is pretty awesome. So 10 years of friendship this year, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. So this is how Alex and I met. For me, it was definitely quite a new turn in my life. Doing this writing course took a lot of guts for me. I was way out of my comfort zone. And I believe that this is a start to changing quite a bit about myself and ending in my financial journey, of course. But this was a start, meeting you there too.
I can absolutely agree with you because it was a non-fiction writing course and we wrote a lot about ourselves, what we believe about us, about all sorts of topics, how we perceive things. So it was a bit of a psychology course in a way. And obviously that also got me thinking, like, what do I actually want from life? I mean, I was in my mid-20s then. It got me thinking, okay, what do I want? Where do I see myself in 10 years? And most importantly, how do I finance all of this? Because I have big plans. And I'm not just talking about having a big house or travel plans or anything like that. No, I'm also talking about being comfortable financially when you retire.
So this made quite a lot of impact on you, that course, and you actually wanted to think big. Where do I need to go? What do I need to do in order to get rich?
Definitely. Well, back in Germany, the way it works is when you have a job, before you get your net income, they deduct your taxes, your medical aid, and your pension fund. So pension fund in Germany is compulsory. But when I worked here, I noticed that they only deduct your income tax and the UIF. No medical aid is deducted and no pension fund.
You pay for this all by yourself. So this was quite new for us.
Yeah, like you said, not having these things deducted from your salary was quite a new experience for myself. But the aha moment that I actually have to look after myself was not here in South Africa. It was when I was back in Germany visiting my family. I was at my grandparents' and I overheard them talking about their pension. And I mean, they've worked for what, 40, 45, 50 years.
That is a fair amount.
And they've always paid into the government's pension fund. And obviously, my grandmother stopped working when she had my mom. But the amount they got out at the end of the day was shockingly little. It was roughly half of what a standard household with 2 people needs in Germany. And I realized if my grandparents hadn't saved up so much money for themselves, they would be poor now. So I realized that even in a country like Germany, where you expect that the government looks after its people, it doesn't. And you have to make sure that you look after yourself. What was your aha moment that you have to look after your own finances?
So it was a little different from you. I've never actually worked in Germany, at least not, that I got a proper salary. All the knowledge that I had of that was how it works, but I never actually worked there. But as I arrived here, it was my very first job, they guided us with a financial advisor. So there was the possibility of actually getting a pension fund with that job, but they didn't have a normal pension fund, as in a government pension fund, but your private one. So they paid half and I could pay half. And a financial advisor was telling me what kind of a fund I was supposed to use. So I spoke to the financial advisor and they advised me of what to do, and I set it up. And then after a couple of years, I remembered. I remembered that I'm paying them a little percentage. But I've never heard about them anymore. They've never contacted me anymore. So I was basically just paying my percentage steadily to them, but they never bothered to actually check up on me or tell me how things going, or just genuinely normal customer service. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to email them and ask them what they're doing for me. So their response was that I can cancel the service.
They told you to cancel their service. Seriously.
Seriously. So I called Ellen Gray because I had my account with Ellen Gray, and I told them a story, and they were so shocked that my financial advisor basically said to bugger off. So they were glad to remove them on my behalf because I was quite a little bit offended. I mean,
understandable.
Yes, you pay a little bit of money. It's not a lot, but if they don't help you much to begin with, and then that's the response. Anyway, so I wouldn't quite necessarily say that this was my aha moment because I paid into this fund, but I didn't really feel like it was enough. And to be perfectly honest, I had the feeling I was just not doing enough, not saving enough. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I needed to do in order to actually have a proper pension when I wanted to, enjoy retirement. So I basically just put my head in the sand for the longest of times. I know it's not good, but I want to speak honest about that because I do believe that this is big time also our motivation of why we're doing this.
Definitely. I mean, you're not the only person facing those struggles, and you're not the only person who chose to put their head in the sand.
Thank you. No, but very true. But eventually I started getting nightmares. I woke up in the middle of the night being scared to death of, being poor when I'm old. And eventually I told you how I was feeling. Do you remember?
Yeah, I actually remember that conversation. And yeah, my aha moment was, I think, 2 years or 3 years back at that stage. And after the realization that no one is going to look after my money if I don't do it myself, I started reading up. I started looking for information both here in South Africa and in Germany. And to be honest, I found it easier to get information in Germany. There were quite a few financial coaches who had written good books about it. And I started gathering more and more information on what kind of investment strategy makes sense. I also did a course on investment. Yeah, at that point in time when you told me, I already felt like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I have a plan. I know how much I need to save for retirement. I had worked out all the numbers. I had worked out, okay, what kind of investment would I like to do? And that's when I told you about all the things that I read up on, and you decided to do the same course.
Yeah, I did. I really, really did enjoy the course. It was a German course that we did just because South African information was not as readily available, or perhaps we couldn't find it. So I did the course, and it was great relief. I noticed that I'm not in such a bad shape as I thought I was. So yes, I've started basically dealing with my financial issues and started to tackle them head on. And I like yourself, I calculated exactly what numbers I needed to hit. I realized that I'm making way too little money in order to hit those numbers, but that did not actually bother me much because I had started. I knew it would get better. I also had realized that I was in a space where I was not in a negative. Because we bought a house at the time, I thought we had a negative net worth, but that wasn't the case. I was very proud of that, and then, of course, putting the steps together, doing the necessary things, and it took me quite a while, just like you. It takes time to actually not just understand the information, but also make the right decisions for yourself. Yeah, but all together, I've then set up what I needed to set up and was really, really happy that I'm moving now strong and really, really well into the right direction.
Yes, I remember you telling me that you felt very vulnerable at the time, that you were shy to talk about that topic in general, and especially when doing that course in Germany, you realized that you were not the only one who was struggling with those issues.
I was terrified, to be quite honest. I think that is one of the major things that I realized, that the information out there, it's not soft, it's not kind. It does feel like very harsh, like you should know the information already. And I felt really stupid. I thought, okay, like who can I blame but myself that I have not dealt with this? But I also did not feel like I could speak up about it openly. I did not feel like I could speak to other peers about it, to friends. It became an issue that had to be dealt with. It was very clear to me. So as I was getting stronger and better with my finances and more willing to speak about it, I spoke to my friends, I spoke to other people about it, and I realized that a lot of women are having the same issue. They're having this problem of not being able to find the right way of talking about it. It was very, very difficult. And same for me. You have this problem, you have this problem, but you can't actually talk to anyone about it. Did you have the same issue with friends?
Oh, definitely. Both here in South Africa and in Germany, whenever I was like super excited about like, oh my gosh, guys, look what I learned in the books and the course and everything, and I wanted to talk about it, they were like, ugh, money is not a topic you talk about. Why do you want to know how much I make? Like, no, I don't want to know how much you make. I want to know, how are you saving for your retirement? Like, I'm not interested in numbers. I'm interested in how you're doing it and like what else is out there that I maybe don't know yet. Because we all do our own little things, but there is so much more out there. There's no way that one person can know everything. So that's why I tried to get people to talk about it. And at first, a lot of people were quite uncomfortable with it. It took quite some time for people to start feeling comfortable with it. And yeah, I definitely encountered the same issues with friends of mine, like you said. And a lot of women were scared because it's often the husbands who manage the finances. And yeah, unfortunately, the world we live in, divorces are quite common. Death, unfortunately, is also common. And then you just sit there with nothing. Yes, you might have some money, but you don't know what to do with it.
Mm.
And I think it was you in the end who came up with the idea that we also need to tell other women about what we've learned in a way that is very gentle.
Yeah, no, I felt the need was really, really demanding. I felt like a lot of women need the opportunity to have a good forum to learn about finances, to feel comfortable enough in order to actually have a space where they're not mansplained. Oh my God, I really don't like saying this word. Where they have a forum where they just can speak their mind and without fear. without judgment of where they are at, but more concentrating on what the future brings. I think that's the major or the core point that became clear to me, that we have this big need for women to have an opportunity to learn about finances without judgment. And then as I realized that for myself, as I was speaking to other people about it, my mom, terrible. Yeah? Like, I can't speak to her about money. To this date, I can't really speak to her about money. Actually, if I don't want to talk to her, I will speak about money, and then she will hang up. And I'm obviously making this now a big thing. She's okay to speak a little bit about money, but she gets uncomfortable with achievements. And then I had a friend, for example, that has no idea what happens with her money. She lets everything fall, like you said already. She lets everything fall in the hand of her husband, and she has no idea what that means for her future. None. Can you imagine?
To be honest, no. For me, that is hard to understand. I mean, it's wonderful if you have such a loving and trusting relationship with your partner. But for me, it is very important to be independent and aware of where my money goes, because you never know what will happen in the future. You don't know if that person you trust with your money is there forever, and you don't want any nasty surprises when you're older.
Yeah. And also, even if the relationship goes proper course, what happens if your husband dies and you don't work? Or what happens if you are going through divorce and then you can't actually access the funds? I mean, yes, your spouse needs to take care of you as well, even after divorce, like even until the divorce. But it takes time to...
And that's not always the reality, unfortunately.
The point of it is, for me, quite clearly, is that you need to know how you can save, how you can make sure that you are financially stable for your future. And I think this is where we clearly discovered the need for other women to have this opportunity in a room to learn and to grow. And this is why I said to you, let's maybe create a course for others. Let's give them a forum and address that need.
No, and that's what we've been working on for, 2 years now?
Yes, 2 years.
And finally, we have reached the point that we are launched our website, the course is online, and it is time to open this platform up to everyone else.
Yeah, we want to not just have material out there that obviously can be purchased. We also want to have material out there that's free, that is available for everyone. We want to educate as many as possible. And Alex wants to make that very clear. This is not just a thing for women. We just want to have a very gentle and soft approach to talking about finance. It should be a fun topic. It should be really enjoyable. It should just be cool,
No, definitely. I mean, the content that we are teaching is for absolutely everyone. It's not like you can't invest in this or that because you're a man. No, the information is the same. But the way we approach everything is just, we start right at the beginning. We start at zero to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. You don't have to have any prior knowledge, because we want to pick up everyone where they are. So if you have a little bit of knowledge, great. If you have no knowledge, also perfectly fine. We don't want anyone to feel stupid about anything that they might not know, because you just haven't had the opportunity to learn about that yet.
Correct.
So why we created this for women is simply to create a space that is safe, where there is no harsh words. I mean, we will kick your butt, don't get me wrong, but in a way that helps you to get going and not make you feel stupid.
Correct. So it's very much about, like, where are you at? How do you want to go about? Where do you need to be? All these actual important steps are being addressed. We are looking at them, and then we are just actually talking about how to reach your final goal. With our podcast as well, we want to make sure that you can actually perhaps even talk to us about the topics, that you can address your questions to us, that you can say, like, this is something that I'm struggling with. How would you deal with that? Those type of questions we do want to address. I mean, of course, we do want to share also how our journey has been coming along. So we came together and we decided we wanted to create podcasts, a course, to have a forum for females to actually deal with their financial issues. That's why we're here. but I'm really, really grateful to see that it's coming to fruition. But we have been talking quite a lot, and we wanted to wrap up a little bit.
So yeah, if you feel ready to join us on this journey of becoming a money magnet, then subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned for our next episode, where we will talk about the basics of personal finance. What is net worth, cash flow, assets, liabilities, how to track your income and expenses, and so on.
We will also talk about how to create a budget that works for you, and most importantly, on how to start saving money. We hope you enjoyed the introduction episode of Money Magnet, and if you did, please leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
It really helps us to reach more people who might benefit from our content. And you can also follow us on our blog at money-magnet.co.za, where we will regularly post articles on personal finance topics.
And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, where we send out exclusive tips and resources every month.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, and remember,
you are a money magnet!